Thursday morning. This is Adam Guyman. I am making a video response to Bailey, the service dog pupper. I am making this response video as someone who does not have a service animal, but there are fears because of this new law. It could make it potentially very frightening for someone who may in the future need a service animal, but feel that a service animal may not be a possibility because of these restrictions that airlines want to put on people. The video that I was watching should service dogs and ESAs be allowed on planes. I know a lot of people with disabilities have been fighting for wheelchair accessibility rights to get on buses and trains. As a former airport employee in 1994 and 1995, I worked for two subcontracted companies off of Delta. One of those jobs, I was a passenger assistant before I ever needed to use a wheelchair. I have personally been legally blind my whole life. As someone who has helped other people with disabilities on and off of the planes for Delta and SkyWest in Salt Lake City, Utah, I understand certain things as well that most people don't understand unless they've been in that position. A service animal like a seeing eye dog or a seizure alert animal is very important that that animal is able to get on board an aircraft and not be harassed. Now I look at it this way. A service animal performs specific tasks. Someone who has seizures, having an animal that can, bump them with their nose or perform a task to allow the person who may not realize they're going to go into a seizure, or they don't have any type of warning devices where they can smell a smell and go, oh, I know that I'm going to go into a seizure, so I need to let someone by me know I'm going to go into a seizure. I smell a smell. That seizure alert dog is very important, or the CNI dog, or whatever that service animal is doing should be allowed on an airplane. Now, I do understand the importance of ESA, but I would look at an ESA this way. If I'm going to have medication with me, that's something that I'm taking. I wouldn't hand to another passenger on board an aircraft. Now, some people have emotional support animals, which is understandable. I would expect that an ESA or an emotional support animal, if they're on an airplane, that animal should be well maintained. If let's say someone has an emotional support dog, is that dog, maybe a lap dog, or is that dog going to take up the space that requires someone who needs a service animal to actually get around? Like if you needed to use a wheelchair, you have to have that wheelchair. That is medical equipment. Now, yes, medication is very important, but I can put my medication in my backpack. I don't need to hold on to a pill bottle all day long. I can put that pill bottle in my pocket. I don't have to I need it with me, but I don't need that medication every second of the day. I'm going to take a pill or take a puff on my inhaler when I need it. So I need it in arm's reach. So it's, let's say you have an ESA, as long as it's not taking up the space, because I understand even myself, I still have to have medication and I have to have it with me. I can't just leave town and leave my meds at home. If other people are, coming up to you and they're wanting to pet your emotional support animal, people should treat that as if it was a service animal. And yes, both should be able to fly as long as they're not aggressive, as long as they are not in any way going to harm other people. People should still treat both the same way. You wouldn't walk up to a service animal or walk up to someone in a wheelchair and start petting their wheelchair. That's just obviously not a thing that you would do. As a former airport employee, I understand a lot about what security is like, and to be honest and blunt and forward about it, I don't believe that a person should have to, if they have a disability, go through all of that extra security. To be honest with you, security is more of a joke. We, as people, and as a society, have got ourselves in this. Ever since 9/11, we have had so many people that are now scared, and they feel that they're going to be safer going through security and all this extra. There are things that are slipping through security every day. Things that are not supposed to be, quote unquote, on board an airplane are getting on the planes anyway. So this, you need to be at the airport an hour earlier, is total BS. Completely BS all the way. If anything, it takes longer anyway to get a wheelchair, to get medical equipment, your medications, all of those things have to go through security anyway. And with all the restrictions, it's making it harder and harder for people with disabilities to actually be able to use and fly on aircraft and travel. Transportation, public transit, those things should be considered as rights, not privileges. And you should have the same right as anyone without a disability to be able to hop on board an airplane. Someone without a disability, without any other things other than they're just going to walk up to the counter, buy their airline ticket, walk through security, get checked, and let's say they don't have a lot of stuff. Let's just say they don't have anything. Whether they do or don't, let's say it takes that person 15 minutes to get through security after they bought their airline ticket. Then they have about 10 minutes to wait for their plane to board. They walk on board the aircraft. If they have a carry-on, they throw it in the overhead bin real quick or under the seat in front of them. And then they sit down, buckle their seatbelt. The plane boards. All the passengers sit down. Well, that person doesn't have to wait. But they don't have a disability. They don't have anything that slows them down. But yet, not every airport. Some airports have Fast Pass, or they have other programs where you have to pay money in order to actually go through the airport security and not have to go through all the extra checks and not have to have everything searched. This is why I say, and I believe, that most of airport security is total BS. This, oh my gosh, because of 9/11, yeah, what happened on 9/11 was not a good thing. I totally agree with that. It was not a good thing. But at the same time, we as Americans and as people with disabilities will always be the losers the minute we allow any form of terrorism to disable us. That's basically, we lose as Americans. If we are fearful, who really is winning? None of us. Every American is not winning. If we're afraid and we feel that we have to be safe because of security and going through and having our rights stripped from us every day, more of our rights will be stripped every day. More forms of accessibility will be taken away because of our fears. This as well could potentially, and this already does put fear into people, because unfortunately we have the fear that if we go to a business, and this happens all the time, access issues happen every day, we need to make some major changes. Businesses, every business, in order to even be licensed and to renew their business license, should actually have to go through a federal test, no matter what and or where that business is in the United States. In order to get a business license, that person and that company, the employees of that company, need to be able to pass a test that lets them know the rules and the reasons why people have service animals and why and how important it is for people to have them. and to understand the consequences. I don't have a service animal, but what would happen if down the road I needed a service animal? Because of what I've seen in the way of access issues, which I'm glad that I've seen this information out there, but when someone is denied access to a business for any reason, and these laws where they say that a business has the right to refuse service for anything, which is not something that should actually be on the books at all. Things like this allow businesses to do whatever they choose, and that's not right. Businesses want our business, but yet they're not willing to follow rules. So if a business had to if they had to follow specific steps in order to get their business license, then they would be very well informed in advance, and they would then have an understanding that they have no choice. As long as a service animal or an ESA is well behaved, they follow the commands of their owner or their trainer, they are able to actually perform their tasks. Airlines are a form of transportation. Just like public transit is a form of public transportation, they need to follow the same rules. It's not because people with disabilities are just trying to be better than anyone else. A person with a disability should never have to fill out additional paperwork, and people with disabilities should never have to keep proving themselves to other people. And so I don't like the idea that you would need to fill out additional paperwork. And I don't like the idea, to have to pay to get through security without the extra BS that's involved with it. People with disabilities are on low fixed incomes. Disability and poverty go hand in hand, and it's not a convenience. Remember, convenience doesn't equal accessibility. Accessibility equals convenience. I just thought I would make this video because I want to show people, and I want others to understand that there are fears that are brought on because of other fears. And we as Americans need to stop using the 9/11 that happened in 2001. We need to stop using that as an excuse because it's BS. I hope that you have a great day. And again, I'm grateful for your video. I want to make sure that others as well understand that there are fears where people feel that because of the access issues, if we ever needed a service animal, are we going to be denied service as well? And I know there's a lot of hard work going into trying to educate people. And I do have some other videos I've been making, and I would really appreciate if you would watch my videos as well. I am someone who is trying to bring awareness to undiagnosed disabilities, as well as just my own journey as well, because I use a power wheelchair and I'm legally blind. And so I believe that both of these are issues that could potentially affect someone else. And, if you haven't walked in our shoes and you're watching this video, take a moment to do so. And again, thank you and enjoy your day. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.